for coming. Everybody made it on time. So good to see you. I see a lot of new faces, which is fantastic. We have new faces every month. How many people are here for the first time? Awesome, awesome. Welcome to the club.
I want to say thank you very much for putting all this together. Todor's done a great job of helping people, mentor people, and who's here for the first time again? Holy cow. You guys are, hey, there's Lindsay. You guys are in for a treat tonight. I very much value coming to this meeting. It's done wonders for my knowledge level when it comes to real estate. And again, Todor, thank you for putting this together tonight. The snacks, the food, thank you, everything. Just give it back to Todor. How is everybody doing tonight? That's better. Let's get a little energy. It's Christmas, right? Hanukkah. Actually, it's the first day of Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah to anybody in here. Any other holidays that I'm unaware of? Happy, whatever that is. Kwanzaa. Thank you very much. So I started the. Can I be honest with you guys right off the bat? It's my first time ever delivering this talk. Todor asked me about 2 weeks ago, Jeff, what would you like to talk about? I'm giving you 15 minutes. And I am nervous tonight. So bear with me. And I can see that obviously Todor is a guy to set an example here when he went through all the challenges with the projector and everything. I've seen Harry do it as well. So I hope I can deliver as much information as you guys and with as much poise. I started investigating what my money was costing me to make money, or as I like to call it, get your grubby paws out of my pocket. One chuckle, I'm going to change that title. So one of the things that was really starting to frustrate me is I was looking at my mutual funds, and I noticed the fluctuation up and down, up and down, up and down. I was actually starting to lose sleep over it at night. It was frustrating me so much that I would see my capital erode, and then it'd come back. And it'd erode, and it'd come back. And it wasn't until I got a letter from the government telling me that I had over-contributed to my TFSA, and that I owed them a bunch of money, that I really started looking at what was going on. Because, like, did anybody else invest with the bank? Yeah, I had a TD mutual fund. Also, higher returns. I got a high interest bank account. Do you know what the high interest was? 1.5. 1%. I was drinking a coffee, I almost spit it on the guy. So what didn't I like about mutual funds? Fees. Everybody knows that you have to pay fees on mutual funds, right? Why? Why do I have to pay fees on lending my money out to somebody to go do what they're going to do with it and make more money? Okay, fine, there's lots of fees associated with it. What else? Not secure. Is anybody watching the market today? Anybody invested in oil? Nobody? Oh, that one guy. I'm sorry.
I was actually shorting, so.
Okay, good. So if not mutual funds, then what? I started looking for something different. I invested in a business. My friend approached me. I did not invest in his business. Probably a good idea. But I wanted something that the banks were doing. I used to work in a sales office, and we sold to the CEOs of private equity firms, real estate firms all day. And I started to watch what they were doing, and after 2008, things kind of changed. People started looking for more secure ways to invest. CPP started going that way, their pension fund does it, the banks do it, OMERS does it. They're all moving into real estate. That was huge to me. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like the roller coaster of investing. I'm sure some people in here do, but I want to know what my money's going to make year after year. I'm not saying all my money wants to be in that, but a good portion of it so that I know exactly what that capital preservation is going to be and what its growth is going to be. And then are there fees associated with it? No, this type of investing doesn't require me to pay money for somebody else to borrow my money. So what it is, structure-wise, is I lend my money to a developer. You guys tonight, because if your money's sitting doing nothing, I'm not saying this is the exact thing that you should invest in, but you should certainly look for other avenues to get a better return, because that capital erosion is going to be killer in a few years. And I'm betting that when everybody starts realizing exactly how much their mutual funds are costing them in dollar value, there's going to be a very big rush on alternative investments. If that's the case, that is my name, that is my number, that is my email address. And that is all I have to say tonight. Thank you very much, guys, for having me out here. Todor, thank you. Not bad for the first time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Renata, and I'm a professional bookkeeper in the GTA. And I provide business owners with the right systems and tools to better manage their cash flow and paperwork and keep their books updated and compliant and organized. And if you don't have a system to collect your papers, probably you're going to have a healthy bottom line, because if you're not compliant, you won't be able to claim your expenses. So make sure a box, I think, is the best one for you to collect and be able to claim all your expenses. Always have proof of purchase and proof of payment. So to be compliant, you need all the receipts you have when you purchase any kind of products or services from contractors. Those will be your proof of purchase. And proof of payment, if you paid with your credit card, then your credit card statement is your proof of payment. If you paid with your debit card, your bank statement will be your proof of payment. So you need to have those two in order for you to pass an audit. Okay. And any correspondence with the government or other parties, make sure you keep a copy for yourself of everything you do. And don't ignore any letters from the government, so you won't get into trouble. Because some people, they do, and then when they come to us, it's too late. I mean, then it's a lot of work to do it, and also keep all their notice of assessments.
Right. I'm trying to get what's reasonable.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
We'll find out when they come. But I would say, I mean, advertising expenses. How can you tell what is, because sometimes you may spend a lot of money till maybe the second year you're going to get results, right? So, I mean, I cannot tell exactly what percentage, but as long as it's reasonable, and yes, but, right.
Now, my understanding is that if I claim the expenses on that home office, when I eventually go and sell my primary residence,
Right.
that home office, that portion will be taxed capital gains.
Are you amortizing your property? Like, are you amortizing your property? Or no?
Well,
It's just amortization. If you amortize, like, you know, when you, they call it depreciation, but I mean, we say amortization. So if you depreciate, yes. If you don't,
Well, yeah, I mean, the thought is that it would.
yeah, no, if you're depreciating the property.
Oh, sorry.
The things that depreciation is what will reduce your, when you sell the property, then whatever depreciated will come back, become income to you. So if you don't depreciate, right?
No.
No, then you're fine.
Then I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no.
And so what do you need when you start a business, especially if you're competing with the banks? Because when you're doing mortgages, you know, you could be competing with the banks, especially when you first start off, if you're doing, you know, straightforward mortgages, and it's extremely competitive. So what do you need, right? You need a powerful marketing system, a powerful tool. So I thought, okay, well, I enjoy presenting, I enjoy talking to people, so I'm going to start producing video. So this is me. I started producing videos, sending out videos to real estate agents and such. Eventually, I got carried away. I started producing a talk show, which got picked up by JLTV, Jewish Light Television in the U.S. It aired in 30 million homes, and it was mainly on Jewish issues and stuff. It was a bit of an experiment, but I had a lot of viewers. So I thought, you know, I'm going to start advertising mortgages, which I did. But then I get people call me from Little Rock, Arkansas, saying, you know, I need a mortgage in Little Rock, Arkansas. I'd say, how do I know where to get a mortgage? And did you Google it? I mean, find somebody local. So it wasn't really practical, but it was an interesting experience. So that leads me to lesson number 1, which is know what business you're in. It's okay, you can have complementary businesses, but keep your eye on the bottom line. And make sure you know what each business is. So I am in the mortgage business, and video is something that I love to do, and it's a great way to give you leverage and visibility. So there's probably a few mortgage brokers in the room shaking their head. You may or may not have had the same experience, but at the last minute, if you qualify at a bank, those people, borrowers from a bank, generally, they want the best rate. Okay, so this leads us to life lesson number 2, which is that in any business that you're in, you need to find a niche. You need to find a way to differentiate yourself, so you're not competing with the major players out there, like banks and so forth. You may have heard the saying, the niches are in the riches. Should you become a private lender? Who here has invested in mortgages before? We have Todor, a few people. Yes, number of people has invested in mortgages. What was your experience? Did you get your money back? Got your return? Todor, everything worked out okay?
Emails with the deposits just keep on coming in.
The money just keeps on coming in. That's what we like to hear. I don't have to tell you about why real estate is an investment, but I couldn't help but find some great stories about the stock market and the mystery behind it. Who knows where your money is really going? We all heard about this recent scandal. You trust these executives to handle millions and millions of investment dollars, but you know, you see cases where 87 billion with Volkswagen, the recent scandal, WorldCom accounting scandal, 107 billion in assets inflated, Enron, Lehman Brothers, 600 billion in assets failed in 2008, sparking a worldwide financial crisis. So with real estate, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to assess the value of real estate. Just by see what neighboring properties are selling for and how much rent they're getting, you can fairly assess the value of a property. And of course we know that with immigration of 200,000 people or more to Canada every year, we did a show of hands. There were only a half a dozen people, it seems, who were actually born in Toronto. The rest of the people were from outside. Amazing multicultural society. But these are the things that help to keep the real estate market buoyant and getting started. The rule of 72, does anybody here know about the? Yes, Kevin, right? Eric, Kevin's your brother.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys twins?
No.
You're not, okay.
He's better looking.
He's better looking. Okay, so the rule, better looking than me or better looking than you? Approximate number of years it takes to double your investment. The power of compounding. And here's where you are if you have a GIC or something. At 1%, it'll take 72 years. If you have, if you're getting 10% rate, and those are the types of returns you can get, and that is what you can get, or higher on a project we're going to be speaking about momentarily, 7.2 years to double your money. That's fast. What do private lenders look for? Equity in the property. You want to know that there's equity, that it's a good property. If you have to force the sale, how quickly can it be sold? What's the ability of the borrower to service the debt? That's very important. You want to make sure you're going to be able to get paid. The credit is probably the least important thing for a private lender. You want to know why the credit could be troubled if it is, but if the credit was great, they'd probably be at the bank. But there are many reasons. People go through difficult times, job loss, sickness, things happen. I've always been looking for a place as a mortgage agent, where can I put my efforts where it's really going to add value? And what I have found, as we've heard Jeff talk about earlier, developers have started raising money for soft costs, millions of dollars, and also when they go to get construction financing, the banks never give them quite enough money. So they have to look to alternative sources to raise money. And this is a somewhat new trend in recent years, and that's why a lot of you probably heard about syndicate mortgages. So I have worked with a number of different companies that are offering syndicate mortgages, and I met Harry a few years ago after interviewing him on one of my talk shows, and I saw what he was doing, and I thought there was something very special about what he was doing, because it helps to improve cities. A lot of times he's acquiring buildings at like literally $1 or $2 in some cases, or maybe a whole city block in Hamilton for a couple of $1 million where he can do 100 suites, let's say, which is the story on his current project, which we'll get to momentarily. Gibson Lofts, this is Harry's current project, because the Stinson School is already completed. 1914 downtown Hamilton schoolhouse. So my question, this is the final lesson, and that is, if you can borrow money at 3%, invest it and earn a return of 8%, how much money should you borrow? As much as you can. Exactly. Exactly. So if the banks will lend you money at 2 or 2.5%, my advice is take whatever you can get and invest it. Invest it in something, whether you're investing in yourself, your education, your career, your business, or mortgage investments, which is what we're here. There's a unique offer Harry has created. It's called the Builder Buyback to help raise money for this development. And the basic idea is you buy a suite from the builder, from Harry, and he buys it back for a fixed profit. And the amount of money you earn is based on the amount of money you put in. It's RSP eligible. And I didn't put what the returns are because I don't know if Harry's considering changing them soon. They're very generous right now. I'm sure he'll probably hold them over because he didn't reply that we were changing them yet. So he might hold them over for longer. But the returns are currently 10, 12, or 14%, depending on how much money you invest.
I appreciate the opportunity. David only contacted me last night and said, can you come down tomorrow night? And you know, I got to tell you, I really miss Toronto. And Hamilton is a great place for investment, but the dynamic is just not the same. It's just, you know, you get into downtown and there are people on the streets and there's activity, and I just enjoy the opportunity. Any excuse to come back away is to try and look to where the market is going. And in 1990, my sense of the market, being a real estate broker, which I still am, was people were saying, you know, I'm interested in living downtown. I'm interested in the condo lifestyle. I can't stand the traffic on the Parkway. This was 30 years ago when they're talking about traffic on the Parkway in the late 80s and early 90s. But there's nothing interesting out there. Can you find me something interesting? And as a person who's waving my flag saying I specialize in condos, you know, here I have customers saying, I'll buy it if you can find it, and I can't find it. So I was going to the development industry in the late 80s and saying, you know, consider these lofts downtown. They're cool. People will buy them. Look in the movies, Ghosts and Flashdance and such. It's the next thing downtown. And their attitude was, why? What we build seems to be selling, you know. No strains, saying we just churn them out. Why? No bother. It's easy street. Late 80s, everybody was a genius. Like now, everybody was a genius then. Because I think Toronto will remain a healthy destination from around the world, especially with the craziness going on all over the place. Toronto is going to continue to attract people, but so we got started with that concept in Hamilton, but it is just getting going. The Hamilton market is, the downtown Hamilton market is the last frontier, but it is still a frontier.
People that work in Toronto?
I'll tell you about the Hamilton market. Who's in Hamilton? Why did it go to Hamilton instead? Hamilton has a real image problem, and they still haven't fixed it. Steel town, you know, steel mills are in trouble, everybody's unemployed, big pall of smoke over it. Just go over the Burlington Skyway, it looks awful on the waterfront. Hamilton has long ago ceased to be a steel town. In fact, there are 4 times as many now in Hamilton, 4 times as many people working in entertainment and music as there are in steel. Half of the population works in healthcare and education. So who is buying in Hamilton now? People from outside of Hamilton coming into these new industries. People from Oakville, people from Burlington. A lot of the people who bought in the building already, they're coming out of Burlington, Oakville, Mississauga, because they're not downtown people. This stuff about massive numbers of people from Toronto moving to Hamilton is rubbish. There's some people going, most people in Toronto buying in Hamilton are buying as an investment, because it's a great investment. But if you're a downtown person, you're not going to move to Hamilton. It's like going to Winnipeg coming from Toronto to Hamilton. It's just exhausting. You don't want to do that. But people who are not downtown people, who were in Burlington, Oakville, Mississauga, and discover they sell their house and they have to pay as much money for the condo, and there's no character to it, are saying, you know, I think I'm going to give Hamilton a look. And they get to Hamilton, they say, wow, this is actually quite an interesting city. If you go into Hamilton along the 403, not over the Burlington Skyway, but around the 403, you'll find it's actually quite a neat city. And the neat thing about Hamilton as well, or the sort of architectural, Hamilton was a larger economy than Toronto 100 years ago. It was nip and tuck, but Hamilton and Toronto's economy once upon a time were equivalent. So it actually has a city core. It has old buildings. It has downtown character. You don't get that in Mississauga. I don't care how many new condo towers there are. There is no real core urban feel. Hamilton does have that. It is very much reminiscent of Queen West, and it's really starting to germinate.
As you can see, it's a group effort. It's a community effort. We're all here to learn from each other and give each other information and help each other take the next step, because there is always a next step. There is always learning. You know, Harry is probably the first guy to tell you that he's learning something every day or every other week or every month. This is real estate. It's beautiful. One of my favorite saying from the last month is fail to success forward. So as you fail, you move forward.
Fail forward to success.
Is it fail?
Fail forward to
Oh,
success.
it's too long, it's too complicated. And English is my second language.
Just call it
but
fail.
You get it. You get it. Yeah, have a good night. There's more wine. We'll see you in 2016. Thank you so much for coming.